podcast I did, I didn't like the person whose podcast it was, so I was real
Hold
salty.
up, we live right now,
Uh-oh.
so don't talk about their podcast because I've been working on my shit. Yo, welcome to the New Normal Podcast. If you're over there on YouTube, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Today we're talking about this the dating pool have P in it part two. Today I got Cara with me. Do you want to say anything? Tell them your handles, where they can find you, what you got going on, all of that.
uh, Handles, not really. I'm pretty basic. I am in school to be a librarian, on top of being a teacher and having a small business in 1 hour crafts, trying to build up the brand.
Okay. Well, while we getting started, I'm finna play a video for y'all so y'all can see what's going on. Here you go. And then my door 6 in the morning. That's your stuff right there. Yeah, that's your stuff right there. So this shit crazy as fuck. So what y'all just seen was Cara and her baby daddy getting the fine. She tried to run them over and whatnot. So if y'all ever see Cara out there and y'all trying to holler at Cara, y'all just make sure y'all know she run niggas over if they play with her.
First off, I don't even have a baby daddy. We both know this.
Oh, okay.
Secondly, I am personally not about to go into like vehicular crimes. That's
Why not?
definitely how you go to jail.
So you're in the rage of passion.
I mean, I do have two attorneys, so I could probably
Oh, see
get
that
off
she
everything.
calculated, y'all. She calculated, so she know she already got it planned out in her head.
Absolute facts.
If oh, you got to plan that for real?
Down to the science.
Oh,
Like,
how to get away with murder? Oh shit, now. So tell the good
icicle.
people, you married, single, divorced, complicated. What's going on? Trying, maybe, bi, triple,
They're so single,
single.
probably by choice, but also not by choice.
Okay, why are you single? How old are you?
35.
35. She's 35, single,
No
has
kids.
no kids. So what's the problem? What's wrong with you?
That's actually a question I've been exploring more recently because I've realized
Hey,
that.
pull your mic.
Oh, sorry.
There you go. Talk to you.
I realized that I have a tendency to go for
There we
the
go.
emotionally unavailable.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw this post the other day and I was like, it says we go for the emotionally unavailable because we might be emotionally unavailable. And I was like,
You think that might be you?
is that it? Like, could that be? Could that be why?
You think you're emotionally unavailable?
I don't think I'm emotionally unavailable. I think that I can be hyper emotional in situations and that can cloud my judgment.
In what ways?
Because I can go from 0 to 100 just in blink of an eye. Something don't go right.
In what
Your
manner?
tone
Like
change.
0 to 100 in anger, 0 to 100 in your love, 0 to 100. Like, what does that mean?
It actually depends. All of the above, because I have a very short temper that I try to keep in check a lot. But I also hyper fixate on situations that if I just asked a simple question could probably be resolved. But at that same token, if I think I'm not going to like the answer, then I'm just going to hyper fixate until like something sets me off. And then I'm like, maybe we could have handled this better.
So I got a question. with the rise of Kevin Samuels, therapy is a thing, right? Have you ever had therapy to address these issues?
I have been to therapy once, but I am looking into going into therapy again soon.
Why you think you might need therapy?
Because, we grew up with, that generation of Black parents that it's always, you're just being emotional. So, like, I've never really, like,
Express yourself.
well, not in a constructive manner.
Yeah.
Like, where it's like you say, like, you're feeling something, oh, you're just being dramatic. Like, they just kind of brush it off to the point where you just kind of like bottle it up.
Mm-hmm.
And so that manifests in like other really negative ways and negative traits.
Yeah.
So having somebody to constructively talk about that with is probably going to be helpful.
Yeah. My homeboy said some real shit the other day. He said we're the first generation to live like this. The first generation to come up in like the computer era, social media, and shit like that. And so he was saying that we don't have nobody really to talk to learn how to express ourselves, learn how to just like block out all those negative stuff that we see on like social media. So like even with relationships, when you see people like Sweetie say if he can't buy you a Birkin bag, you don't need to be with him. But then you understand that hell, most men don't even make yearly what a Birkin bag costs. So that's the crazy part that the society that we're living in right now. So my thing is, what do you look for in a man?
Ooh. Everybody keeps asking me this question, and I don't really have a solid answer. I think I base my attraction to people off the connection or like the vibe I have with them.
Yeah.
Like if I feel like we can vibe, like I'm a super artsy person. Like I went to the School of Fine Arts. I was an English major. I like to read, like I like to craft, like I like to make stuff. So like if I find somebody that like I can vibe with on that like creative tip, then I'm like, okay. But I mean, real specifics.
So it ain't no height requirements, weight requirements, skin tone.
It's definitely a height requirement, but like my friends pick on me because I'm 5'2" on a good day. And like my base height requirement is probably like 10.
But that ain't bad though. That's like an average height for a man.
It is, but like usually dudes that are that like usually it's the folks that hit it like 5'4".
But they still taller than you though.
Not when I have on shoes.
Well,
you've seen
me. But how often is that? How often do you wear heels?
At least a 2-inch heel, 2 to 3, probably 4 days a week.
So y'all would be the same height, 2 inches. I'm just saying.
If I'm 5'2" and we looking eye to eye, when I got on shoes. Because you gonna talk about him, so don't even do that.
I'm not gonna talk about him. I ain't gonna say shit. Look,
you're not gonna say nothing to me.
I ain't gonna say shit. I ain't gonna say shit to me. Man, because I know people can't help their height.
I mean, that's very true. Like, I can't help the fact I'm 5'2". Like, I really had high hopes of being at least 5'5". Yeah. Like, my granddad was 6 foot. My mom was 5'5". I was like, cool. Yeah. I'm gonna hit a smooth 5'5". Yeah. But I forgot to factor in that my great grandma was 4'11" and the other one was 5 foot. Oh, so damn. Here we are.
Oh damn. So my question is, let's get into some real shit. Your last serious relationship, why did it end? Because when was it?
So this is actually a really loaded question that I had a conversation with one of my friends about. So technically speaking, my last like actual like boyfriend girlfriend relationship was probably undergrad. My last.
So we're talking about maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah, no, 15. Ooh. But my last
15 years ago.
So, but I'll explain. My last situationship. Okay. Was 2 years ago.
How long was this situationship?
Longer than I would like to talk about on this podcast.
We got to talk about it. That's what you came here for.
I did. It was off and on roughly 8, almost 9 years. Yeah, I know.
8 years.
I know.
You should be ashamed of that.
I am. That's why we go into therapy so we can not continue these problems. Like we should, off and on. Shit. I mean, hey, I'm honest, but like, but looking back, like there were definitely, but that also is where that like therapy and like people pleasing from like how I was raised comes in, because it's like I definitely knew a long time ago that like there were some things that weren't cool.
Yeah.
But because it's always like, well, it's better, the whole comment of like it's better to have a piece of a man than no man at all.
Hell.
And
That
so
fucked a
like
lot of y'all up.
exactly, because like especially growing up in the South, like I grew up in the South. I went to the University of Alabama. Like it's literally inundated. Like you got to get married by this time, have kids by this time, and so like eventually you just start to accept stupid shit that you should have been got rid of, and then it's just like, okay, we're here now.
Why do you think women are willing to accept piece of a man?
Because society tells us that it's better to have a piece of something than be alone. Because if you don't have a relationship, then you're not a woman.
But they have the whole independent movement with the women though.
But see, but then y'all get mad about us being independent. So we
Wait,
can't win.
no,
We
hold
can't
on.
win. It's
No,
either we got the
no.
piece of the man or we independent. Like we can't win either way.
But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about for you. Why do you think when you heard it, you internalized it as I needed to have a piece of a man? Because you could have heard it and just been like, that's some bullshit.
That's true.
Like we do a
I
lot
think
of
it was
shit.
more so because like I wanted to like I have a very bad habit of seeing of let's not say seeing. I have a very bad habit of imagining the good in people that's not necessarily there, but because of who I am as a person and because I love really hard and I give really hard, I'm like, if I keep doing all of this, then eventually they're going to do this. But then when they don't do that, then I get mad. And then it just becomes like, then I'm just like angry. And then I just eventually get over it because it's like, it's just a cycle.
So have you ever tried to buy somebody's love? Not necessarily I'm going to do this so he can do that, but you might maybe being like a giver of like material. Like let's say you met with a guy.
So I am notorious for that because my love language personally is not words of affirmation. It's acts of service and physical touch. But my giving language is giving gifts because like I'll buy stuff for my friends like all the time. Like if I see something and I'm like, oh, this is something that they'll like, or this is like, I'll buy it and give it to them because like it's not a thing for me. Because for me, it's just a matter of like showing the people that I love that I care about them. I'm like, oh, I thought about you. Like, here's a gift, which can sometimes turn into me trying to buy affection, but that's not the intent behind it. But I can see how it could be seen.
Yeah, like so let's say if it's a dude and you really, really like him and you see him light up a certain type of way and you feel like I gave him this feeling. So I want to do it again. I want to replicate the feeling that he get that I seen him. Because we have some people that are addicted to the emotions that they can get out of people. Like we talk about narcissistic people. There are also people that's kind of like in the same realm, and I don't know the technical or the
but you get that high off. But you get that high off seeing other people's
maybe
emotions.
Being happy as well too.
I feel like there is a term for that, but I quit psychology, so I can't.
Yeah, I'm just saying it has to be the opposite for it too.
That's true because every action does have an equal and opposite reaction.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So when you have that type of mindset, you could have just been like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this. I love this reaction. He's happy," and then maybe later on, his happiness might have translated into sex, or him rubbing your feet, or him just wanting to do more, and you could have just internalized it as he only does this certain type of thing when I give him something. Because to me, you seem like a person that would try to unintentionally buy someone's love. Just having this conversation. We've never had a conversation about your relationship ever.
That's very true. We never have.
Okay, so what you think?
I don't know. I would like to think that I wouldn't be that person, but now that you mention it, I could see how me liking to buy things for people could translate into that in a romantic relationship. It's kind of like, what's the word that I'm looking for? Quid pro quo. That's what I'm looking for. Like I do this, so you do this. So I could see how that could be that.
Yeah. Hey, Lawrence said the dating pool is Flint, Michigan water. Hey, that's oh damn, Obama couldn't solve that shit
at all. Like my dad and I actually had a conversation about this the other day because out of both of my parents, I think my father is the one who like understands me like the most when it comes to like relationships because like my mother, I love her to death. I do. The last guy that my mother tried to hook me up with, she has never met this man in person. Like never met him in person.
So your mama tried to hook you up with somebody she hasn't met.
She's met him because they were doing a program together. So they
Okay.
he's from Montgomery, so they only ever talked on Zoom.
Okay.
She has never met this man in person.
All right.
Her selling points were he has a job, he just bought a house, and he loves his mama. That's it. That is how she sold him.
And that's typically when you let your mama lead you.
That's literally
it's pretty simple.
But no, they wasn't.
Hold on. Hold on. Do you still stay with your parents?
Technically, yes.
So your mama's like, you got somebody that can take care of you. You can get the fuck out of my house, and you can get you some constant dick. And
but that's the thing. Like my mother is not like. It's really funny. Like I'll tell people all the time. Like my parents, legitimately, like if I never got married and gave them a grandkid, they probably wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Now, technically speaking, my brother already has. Like my brother has a kid, so like that saved me a lot of trouble.
Is he married?
He is.
How many siblings you got? I'm gonna cut you off.
One.
Okay, just your brother.
And
he's married. How many kids? One. Okay, go ahead.
So, because like I never had that mom that was like, I need some grandkids. Like I've never had, because like my parents are like the last people in their friend group that had grandkids.
Right.
But like for my mom, it was just because like the only you want to know why she gave him my number? Because his exact words were, I just bought this house. Now I need a girlfriend. It ain't had nothing to do with them talking about me. Like my mama literally just
so she just offered you up.
Just gave this man my phone number. Like
well, she might have thought the guy was a nice guy. Did you ever go on a date with him?
No, because let me tell you that story.
Okay, we here for the story. I love stories.
This is how he introduces himself.
Okay.
So I'm minding my business during summer school. I get a text message from a number that I don't recognize. I open the phone. It's just a picture of him and like a description of how he knows me.
Okay.
I'm gonna show you the picture because I got evidence because I'm that person.
Hey, you should have told me that we could have put that shit on the screen.
We not finna be these people.
Oh damn.
Like I don't know who knows him out here.
Okay, go ahead.
Nobody trying to be this person. So he introduces himself.
Okay.
I was like, okay, we gonna try this. Like first off, I called him and I was like, did you give my number to somebody? She was like, yeah, like I didn't want to say anything because I knew you were gonna be upset. I was like, I'm glad you know, but I'm going to entertain this because it's you. So we text for a while. He said mine's in the text message, and you know how I feel about it.
Oh, she's the grammar Nazi.
I am. But I kept rolling because I was like, we're gonna try something different. We're gonna try something new. So then we talk on the phone. We both know I will talk to drying paint. Like I talk to myself.
Okay.
Every time I say something, oh, that's what's up. That's cool.
So he has bad conversation.
Very much so.
Okay.
So then he texts me and he's like, I just realized that I sent you a picture, but you never sent me one.
Okay.
But sir, I never asked you to send me a picture. Like you volunteered this information. I don't know you like this. To be sending you photos of me.
Well, he probably sent his picture so you can see him.
He sent the picture, then added me on Facebook.
But 30 seconds later. But that's what I'm saying. He sent you a picture.
So what you're saying is I'm being too hard right now.
That's I think you're thinking in that too much because you don't know him. So we live in the Tinder age, right? And what do you do on Tinder? Swipe right, swipe left, just a picture.
I have a Tinder story too.
Right. Oh, we're gonna get into that. So if we live in that kind of society, like I said, we the first people to live in this type of generation.
Right. That's fair.
I'm gonna send you my picture, my name, my information, all of that type of shit. If you respond to me, I'm thinking you like what you see. Because ain't that how Tinder works? You swipe right, you swipe left.
That's very true.
Okay, so that's the only thing I can think of why he was sending his picture first. And so since he sent his picture, then added you, then now you would accept his friend request because now you are actually engaged in a conversation. Because you could have denied.
That's very true. I'll give you that.
His friend request without the picture first.
That's very true.
So that's what I'm saying. So and then with men, sometimes we want a special picture. Not necessarily a naked or nude, but just a picture that's not on the book. Hey, this is a picture of me. It's not posted. I'm sending it to you. This is special. Here you go.
Okay, so I need to work on ego. Okay, I hear what you're saying. So,
I think you're thinking too much when it comes to dating.
I probably am, but I am a chronic overthinker. But nevertheless, so he said he was coming to Birmingham, and I was like, cool. And then never heard from him again.
So he never came to Birmingham.
I don't know if he did or didn't, but he didn't hit me up. And so I'm telling this story to my family, and my mother's like, it was probably your tone. I was like, what are you even talking about? To which my dad was like,
tone is a thing with you though.
That is very true. I know that tone is a thing with me.
Okay.
I understand my personality flaws. Okay. I do. But my dad was like, but didn't he say he was coming to Birmingham? So shouldn't he have hit her up instead of her hitting him up? Like, I don't understand how this is her fault in this scenario.
I agree.
Which is why I generally default to my dad when it comes to because my mama she's just so like, she just be trying to be so nice to folks. And
so your parents are still together? Mm-hmm. How long have they been together?
81.
Since 81? Mm-hmm. That's what it is. 40 years, 43 years. 42 years.
Yeah, almost 42.
Yeah. That's a long time. Mm-hmm. How old is your brother?
33.
Oh, so he's younger than you. Okay. So what kind of relationship your parents got with each other? Like, is they lovey, flirty?
I mean,
dad sleeps in one room, mom sleeps in one room. Do you think they still fucking?
Like, ew.
I'm just saying, like,
as far as I'm concerned, my parents had sex twice. That's all I need to know in my life.
I'm just saying.
But no, I mean, like, my parents are actually like legitimate, like bona fide, like best friends. Because like at this point, they've been together so long that it's just like, I mean, they were supposed to go to Puerto Rico, but they skipped that trip which was a good thing because apparently the flight got canceled. Mm-hmm. But like, they're going to Mobile for a conference my mom has to go to. Like, they really are like best friends. Now, some days I look at both of them. I'm like, I don't understand how y'all have made it this far because both of y'all do too much together at the same time sometimes. But yeah, it works.
Well, that's good. What kind of upbringing did you have? Because they say people upbringing is very important in dating. Were you spoiled? Do you think you were spoiled? Yes or no?
Do you want me to deny that question? Because the correct answer would definitely be, I wouldn't necessarily say I would say spoiled because this is the thing. My mom's an only child. Okay. And so there's only two of us. There's me and there's my brother. So of course on my mom's side of the family, then yes, I would say so. Because like I would say that I didn't grow up without the things that I needed. Mm-hmm. And I did end up getting most of the things that I wanted. Okay. Just based on like, my mom worked for the IRS at the time. My dad's an attorney. My grandma was a teacher. My granddad owned a radio station. On my dad's side, like, he's one of 8. So there's like a fleet of cousins. So like I never didn't have the stuff that I needed or wanted. So yeah, I would say that I would definitely say I was spoiled.
Well, that's crazy because I say I'm spoiled too as a kid. And people say it's hard to date spoiled people because sometimes it's you require too much or you don't require anything at all. And I'm the person that doesn't really require anything. So
is that my problem?
It's a parenting problem because sometimes you have to teach your kids that it's not going to always be like nobody's going to just cater to you or just give you shit because we're a parent supposed to do this. Somebody else that don't fucking know you don't have to do this.
That's true.
So that's what I'm saying. So like the thing is, we have to understand that how we were raised, like they said, I was raised in the house of love. I'm guessing you was raised in the house of love. Some people were raised in the house of survival. So we do things a lot differently, and hearing you talk, it seemed more like you were just raised on love. You kind of spoil. You have a very demanding tone. I think you are looking for perfection. Even if a person, because I'm bad with grammar. Like I suck with grammar. I could put a sentence together and still articulate myself very well, but like on paper or text and stuff, someone might be like, damn, this nigga can't fucking text. Because my friends actually make jokes about me texting sometimes. And I'm like, I've gotten better over the years because I'm conscious of it because I get tired of being the butt of jokes. Like, yeah, they actually sending like messages to each other like, look at this shit, this nigga just text me. Like
they thought that's just mean.
No, it's funny because I'm an asshole, my friend. So when they got a chance to be an asshole,
I ain't gonna deny you.
Yeah,
that.
So really,
I'm not gonna deny you that fact. But I will say though, you've never been an asshole to me. In the time that I've known you, you have never been an asshole to me.
You've never given me a reason to. Now there was some people that I was brought around. I don't know if you heard the stories, but there were some people that came in my vicinity that were assholes to me first. So I went there.
I'm gonna need that story after this.
No, you don't know about it. I ain't gonna tell you about it.
Like,
It ain't one of my friends, one of my wife's friends, but I ain't gonna go into that. So I'm just gonna leave it there.
But no, what's funny is like I like the first night I actually met you, like I didn't realize that like we had met you until like I think the video was like on Snapchat or something. It's a video of like all of us sitting in P's old apartment, like playing
spades and smoking and shit.
And I was like, dang, like I was like, he really was there the whole time, and like none of us ever predicted any of this.
Yeah, we were just chilling. Like that was crazy. I never predicted this either. I never thought I would be here, married with 2 kids. This woman that I knew 3 years before, known 3 years before all of this, and had multiple girlfriends and sexcapades I was telling her about and shit like that. And that's the crazy part about relationships. You never know what it's gonna be like. Even before we started talking, like legit, a female was like, "Oh, I'm carrying your baby." Oh. And I told her, I was like, "Oh, this bitch said she carried my baby." Come to find out, 3 weeks later, she said, "Well, I was playing." I was like, "Bitch, what?"
First off, I don't understand why females play about stuff like that.
Because what the thing was, she was trying to get an emotional response out of me, and I'm so laid back.
And I don't know why she picked you of all people to do that with. Like that's step one.
But that's the thing, because our history was kind of spotty anyway. Like the stuff we had went through. So it was like a last hoorah. And so the story gets crazy because she calls me. She was like, "I need you to come to the hospital right now."
Not the hospital.
Yeah, she said, "I need you to come to the hospital. Having issues." Now, the thing about it is, like, those 3 was she like, "I think I'm pregnant." She said, "I think I'm pregnant." We were on the phone. She pulls over and she said, "Yeah, I'm throwing up. I'm throwing up." She said, "I definitely need to go take a pregnancy test." Right. So I was like, okay. So I'm like waiting on her. So I was like, "Did you take the pregnancy test?" She was like, "Yeah, I took the pregnancy test. It says that I'm pregnant." Right. So I'm like, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? She's staying in Atlanta. I'm staying in Trustville. So I'm like, okay, what we gonna do? Like, as you moving here, am I gonna come there? I was kind of looking forward to going to Atlanta because I needed a new spot. You know what I'm saying? So come to find out, those 3 weeks later, she's like, "I'm at the hospital. I need you to come here. I'm in really bad pain." And I was like, "Why?" And I'm at work getting this phone call, right?
So now you like,
it was a Saturday. And she's like, "Yeah, I need you to come when you get to work. I'm in hospital," whatever. I was like, "Okay, is the baby okay? You okay?" Because I'm still thinking that she's pregnant, right? So she says, "I was playing about the baby, but I'm seriously in the hospital." And I'm like, "What?" I was like, "What?" She was like, "I was playing about the baby, but I'm seriously in the hospital." I was like, "Well, what are you in the hospital for?" She was like, "I don't know. I'm in so much pain. They're running tests on me right now." So I'm like, "Man, you bullshitting, like you playing with me, like I'm getting upset." So I didn't answer the phone. So it was like, I worked a Saturday. I was working at another job, and it had to be, we got off maybe at 1:00. So I called her when I got off, and I was like, "What's up?" She was like, "Yeah, I'm seriously in the hospital. I'm not bullshitting. What you call it? Call this number, and this my room number. This my nurse. You can call them the actual hospital and make sure that I'm here because I'm not bullshitting." So I called to make sure that she was literally in the hospital. So I get to the hospital, 2-hour drive from Birmingham. It's a 2.5-hour drive to get from Birmingham to Atlanta. So I get to the hospital. She laying in the bed, right? And so the doctor comes in. Now, me and this girl been on and off like 4 or 5 years. I have never met her mama. So her mama in there, right? And so she's like, "Oh, this who you telling me, all about?" But then her mom was like, "It's bad that I had to meet you like this for the first
under
time."
these circumstances.
Right. So the doctor comes in. The mama leaves. She's like, "Mama, can you leave?" And she was like, her mama left. She was apologizing. She was like, I'm sorry about the baby and all of that, lying to you, but I'm really hurting." So the doctor comes in and he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna have to remove your gallbladder." I'm like, "Bitch." Like,
I hope you got back in your car and drove back to Birmingham.
No, so
I hope you blocked her that day.
So this is why the story is fucked up. I'm gonna tell you the reason. So the baby's fucked up. I'm gonna tell you the reason why it's fucked up. So the doctor says that they come in there and they put the hat on her for the hair and all this shit. They finna get take it back, but they left or whatever. So before they left, right, she's just started sucking my dick. She was like, she just no lie, she just started sucking my dick. Right. She's like, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I just don't want you to be mad at me, and I don't know what's gonna happen. And she was like nervous because of the surgery. So it's like she just sucked my dick to apologize. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Right. So like
I'm
that's fucked
like
up.
real confused right
So
now.
yeah, so this shit was fucked up. And so after that happened, right? When that happened, I waited on her. She came back out or whatever, they did the surgery. It wasn't long surgery, maybe 2 hour surgery. Maybe not even been that long. It was quick. She was like, it was like they went in there and came back. And during that time while she was back there, I talked to her mama. Her mama was telling me about her and shit like that. She's like, oh, you handsome, woo the woo, telling me just big you up. She always talks about you and shit. So this the fucked up part. So I don't know if you know, but I was married before.
Yes.
Okay. The reason that I got divorced the first time because my ex-wife cheated on me and got pregnant. Right. So I don't tell people this story. But my first wife cheated on me and got pregnant. They didn't know who the baby daddy was. Yeah. So for like 2 months, don't laugh. Don't laugh at my pain. This is some real shit. I'm exposing myself right now.
I apologize because I'm so like, damn.
So when that happened, she didn't know who her baby daddy was or whatever. And that's why I tell you, like when people talk about domestic violence, I understand that shit. Like my nigga, I understand that shit. And so that story got crazy because she called me at work. My ex-wife, she calls me at work. And I'm gonna double back to the last girl about the baby. And she was like, I'm pregnant. I was like, okay, cool. Like,
yay.
You're my wife. Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Celebration.
All right. So then she was like, we need to get an abortion. Bitch, what?
Like we're married. Like, isn't this like a thing?
Yeah, like I'm like, why would we get an abortion? We didn't have no kids together. Like, what the fuck? Like,
is this what we supposed to do?
Yeah, like what the fuck is going on? Right. So when she said that, red flag goes up, right?
As it should.
Right. But I knew she was cheating, right? Because I caught her twice in the fucked up situation. The first situation that I caught her in, right? I was working 2 full-time jobs. So I was never at home. So it was like a Wednesday. And I was like, I'm going to just surprise her and just not go to my second job. So when she gets off work, I'll be at home because we haven't really been spending no time because I was working 2 full-time jobs. On the weekends, I was just resting up, you know. And so while I was resting up, she would that Wednesday, I laid on the couch. It's like 8 o'clock and she get off at 5. So she should have been at home. I call her phone. I was like, hey baby, how you doing? Where the fuck you at? Like, she was like, I'm at home. I was like, hold on. I said, I'm just waking up on our couch. What do you say? You where? You where? It's like, I'm at home. I said, baby, did you hear what I said? No, what you said? I said, I'm at home. I just woke up on our couch. She's like, oh, I'm at my sister's house. And hang up the phone. So I'm like, okay. So we have a neighbor.
This is why people track folks now. Like,
yeah. We have a neighbor. We have a neighbor. We stand in apartments down the street from here. We had a neighbor. Now, the neighbor is sexy. She's very sexy, flirting with me all the time. Could have knocked this bitch off right.
But you was trying to do right.
I was trying to do right because I believe in marriage. Like I really do. I try to do right by people. It's like, and so she was always self-conscious about the neighbor, and I'm like, why do you keep bringing this bitch up? Like I don't want this whole like I don't want. She's a sexy ass woman. She really was. But I'm like you see me blowing this bitch off, right? And so I didn't pick up, and see, this is when I was young and naive because I was 21.
Oh, you was fresh.
Yeah, so I was still young. I fought with a lot of bitches, but I never. This is my first relationship. You was fresh. Right, this is my first relationship, and so the neighbor was giving me hints the whole time that she was fucking around, without giving me hints that she was fucking around. So while So I was just kept wondering why the fuck the neighbor just kept coming on so strong. She just kept coming on so strong all of a sudden. And she was one day I was outside. She like, what's going on? And then like I'm sitting on the steps. She gets behind me, opens her legs. So I'm sitting between her legs. She's massaging my shoulders. I'm like, bitch, my wife is in the fucking house. Like, this is not.
Why are you touching me?
But she's giving me hints.
She's
She let me know something going on. She was like, oh, and we just had a conversation. Like, well, what time do you get off? Oh, you normally get off at that time. I'm like, bitch, why the fuck you keep asking me what time I get off and shit like that? So I'm not picking up on what the fuck going on, but she's telling me.
'cause you young.
I'm young, I don't know shit, right? And so I'm like, oh, okay. So she comes, so after she hangs with my ex-wife, hang up the phone, she come around the curb, right? Caught the call 2 wheel, told me that bitch fly. Skirt, she skirt, she hitting that bitch. I'm talking about she just pull up. I'm like, I'm standing outside, right? So she walking fast and shit. She trying to walk, she trying to get in the house or whatnot. And then she like the neighbor comes out. She like, hey, say it, like all flirty and she had these little bit ass shorts on. And I look at her, I'm like, God damn, my head is on things. So we going out. She said, I don't. Then she tried to flip it. I don't even know why you always talking to the neighbor. Trying to flip it on me. I said, hold up, bitch.
Like first
I
off,
told her,
let's
like,
pause.
yeah,
I
I said, hold up, bitch. You're not finna flip this shit on me.
like you guys, like what you're doing right now is projected.
Yeah, like you're not finna flip this shit on me, right? I said, my nigga, you just told me you was at home, but I was at home. I've been at home since 3 o'clock. So where the fuck you been at? Well, me and my sister want to see the movie. No, bitch, why you tell me you was at home first? I said, look, my nigga, you moving foul. I see what's going on. I said, you can stop it now. We can just go and get divorced because you going I just told her like this. I said, you gonna make me kill you. Playing with me like that. Just like that. Like you can make a choice, like a grown up decision, like let me go about my business. Or you can, I'ma kill you. Right. So the next instance was we was having sex.
I swear to God, if you better tell me she called you somebody else's name,
No,
I'm
no, no.
finna
It
go.
wasn't. It wasn't that. It
I
wasn't
was
that.
like, I'm
It's
finna
worse.
go.
Actually, it's worse. It's worse. We was having sex, and I'm hitting from the back, and I smell something. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it ain't never smelled like this before in my life. I was like, and you gotta think about well, you don't know. She was a virgin when we got together. So it was never
It
I,
was
I
just
always I always the same, right? So, but it was just always just had a really bad odor. And I instantly went soft. And she's like, "What's going on?" It was getting good. And I was like, "Baby,
something right.
something ain't right." She's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "You have an odor." And I was like, "If you letting that other nigga nut in you," I said, "It's throwing your pH balance off, right?" Ain't no other nigga nothing in me. I was like, "My nigga, come on, bro." I said, I done fuck with a lot of females, my nigga. Like, I know what time it is and you moving foul as fuck, but I'm gonna let you play because I ain't caught you red handed. She goes to the doctor like 3 days ago. She was like, well, the doctor say that it don't have to be nobody else nut, just you nutting in me can just throw my pH balance up. I said, bitch, we been fucking 5 years. What the fuck is you talking about?
Like, ma'am, like I know how science works.
Right. Like we've been doing this for 5 years and
One
all
plus
of a
one make
sudden,
one plus one make two, and it's a three in here, and it ain't me.
yeah,
So what
like
we
what the
doing?
fuck is going on? So I'm like, bitch, this shit ain't adding up. I said, you moving foul as fuck, you pussy off, you got caught, not being what you say you're gonna be. It's only a matter of time for you to get caught up. The baby shit comes up, she tells me and shit like that. So I'm like, damn, okay. Then she was like, we're gonna have an abortion and whatever, but the baby ended up not making it, right? Because I think she was stressed out. She was stressed as fuck.
Lies will do that.
And so why the second girl played about the baby was important was because like I don't open up to people about this story because it's a touchy subject. I'm over it now. Like this shit, I can laugh about this shit now because I know the bitch ain't doing shit nowadays.
I was definitely over your week, but you said it's
Right.
tragic. So,
But because it got deeper than that, and I ain't finna incriminate myself on camera. But
you should not.
but I open up to this person about hey, if you know, two things. I've been through this shit. If we have a kid, I'm getting a DNA tested. And you know, she gave me the same pushback most women do. That means you don't trust me. I said, bitch, we just started talking. Bitch, this our second date.
I don't
know you. So it's not even like we built up a rapport for me to say, like, for me to not say that. You know what I'm saying? That second date, so you know what's going on. Then you know that I'm going to check behind
I'm putting my cards on the table.
right now. They ain't got shit to do with you. It's something with me. Okay. So then I tell her that. So a few days later, I opened up about, she asked me why she wanted to get personal. Why did you and your ex-wife, get divorced? And I'm like, my nigga, like I'm telling you all this shit, but then you want to go play by the baby too. Like, what the fuck? Like I just told you, like literally, that's the sore spot.
Like, I don't understand. My thing is, like, it's two things I don't understand about females: using a baby to trap a dude that does not want to be with you, and lying about being pregnant.
Yeah.
Because first off, that is how a lot of domestic violence situations happen. Because like you don't know what this man has been through. Why would you play like that?
All right, and like
and also karma is a bitch, and so it's gonna come back and bite you eventually.
And like I say, like you play, I tell people this: you play with my feelings, don't play with your life like you play with my feelings. Like all I ask, like just be an adult about your shit. Like my nigga, if it's a point in time where you feel like you don't want to do this no more, just let me know. Because I'm an adult. I'm an adult to understand that people have a choice to leave. And I'm gonna give you a choice to leave, but don't play with me like that. Don't play with my feelings, my time, my money, my emotions, my body. Don't play with me like that because I'm at a point in my life where it ain't the point of my life. It's just if I'm fucking with you and I say my commitments, they're real then commitments.
Like because I'm the same way. Like when I'm with a person, like I'm with that person because like one, I'm ADHD. Like I ain't got time.
ADHD.
Yes.
What is that?
Attention deficit hyperactive disorder.
Like I know what it is.
Like I can't focus. Okay. Like it's hard for me to focus. That's why like I always have like a bunch of different tasks because I'm like, oh, this seems fun. This seems fun. But like I can't do that with people because like I can be talking to you.
Yeah.
And then like something else will catch my attention, like a task, a project, something, and I'll forget to text you back for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
I can't do that with 3 other people. Like I don't have that type of emotional structure.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like I don't even know why I know why people do it because sometimes
it's validation. Sometimes you think it's excitement. Sometimes you think the other person has more than what you want from the other person when you could just sit down and have a conversation like a grown up, but
Yeah, because like even being married, that shit boring.
You're not gonna do nothing like this.
No, there's nothing with her. Like we married with 2 kids. Like how the fuck what the fuck we gonna do? Like it ain't like
I mean, I need a niece.
No, see, and she pushing for that now. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like my nigga, like it's married life, and I understand why infidelity, like it's only so many moves you're gonna do sexually. It's only so many ways I'm gonna be able to talk to her through text and say stuff. And people say, you got to be consistently with the texting and the communication. After a while, you kind of know a person. You know a person mood swings and how they're gonna do in certain situations, what turns them on, what gets them aroused. It's no mystery. And I think that's what excites people about meeting new people is the mystery. Not knowing, like, you might, I don't know, women might be like, oh, the way he walks or something. I've heard this, that's why I'm saying it. But like, oh, he was walking like he got a big ass dick.
Yeah, my friends say stuff like that. I'm
so,
like, how do you
like, so it's just the mystery. And then, like, men say, like, damn, she got a fat ass, I want to know what it looks like naked and shit like that. So it just depends. It's the mystery. But after you've been with somebody so long, it ain't no mystery though. It ain't no sex there. Like it's you really do have to, and that's why hobbies are so important.
Hobbies are essential
when you're in a relationship.
Hobbies are essential,
and that person has to be okay with you having a hobby because it will take some of your time away. But if they don't have no hobby, they are a person gonna be their hobby.
Like golf is for golf and gardening. Like,
well, see, that's why I started the podcast. See what I'm doing now? Gives me time to mingle. I'm at the house. She got worry me being out of the streets. I actually like doing this shit, talking to people and shit like that. So it's a great hobby. And I could potentially get paid from it. It all wins at the end of the day. So tell us about your Tinder story.
Oh God. So after I stopped talking to old buddy the first time,
okay,
this girl that I worked with, she had gone through like a breakup with She was like, okay, we getting on Tinder.
Okay.
I was like, all right, we gonna try something new.
Okay.
So I get on Tinder. First off, I don't post a lot of pictures of myself because I think I translate better in person than I do through pictures.
Okay.
Like I'm not a big like when I post pictures, it's literally like every 3 months you might see a new picture of me on Facebook.
Okay.
So I did the whole thing. Like, I swiped. I matched with a couple of dudes. Like, one dude was from like Huntsville or something. And there was 2 dudes that I matched with that I like agreed to go out on a date with. So the first dude worked at a bank. He was like 6'3", African. Like, we went on a date. We talked. Everything was like cool. But then I get back to work the next week, and the bank that he worked at, a girl that worked at the store with me at the time, her mom worked there too. And she went to the branch manager and was like, "Isn't that the one that we had to wait to see if his wife was willing to move from Atlanta?" So that was the first one. The second one, so he worked nights. I can't say where. And so, like, we would only, like, we wouldn't talk a whole lot. So, like, I didn't even think anything was up with that because I'm like, it's Tinder. Like, I'm not, basing my whole life off of this. So he asked me if I want to go out. I was like, yeah, sure. What are you thinking? Blah, blah, blah. So then I don't hear from him for like 2 days. This is still not a red flag for me because, again, this is Tinder.
Okay.
So I go to work that Saturday. He's like, well, do you want to go do karaoke? I personally hate karaoke. But again, we were trying something new.
Okay.
So I agreed to go. So I get off work, like I go get my nails done, eyebrows, the whole shebang. Like, I'm getting dressed, and he texts me. He's like, "What are you doing?" To which in my head, I'm like, "Getting ready to meet you? Like, what are you talking about?" Because he said he had a family meeting that he had to go to prior to this. So now he's still like asking, like, "What's too late for you to get out?" Blah blah blah. Once again, I'm like, "But we not gonna say no just yet because we are trying something new."
Okay.
So I call my homeboy. I'm telling him everything. He's like, well, just come like hang out over here so like we figure out what's going on with this nigga. So I was like, because this is weird. So I go over there, like we're talking about it, and this man is still like hit me up, like ask me what I'm doing, like blah blah blah. Like, so now we both getting sketched out. And when my homeboy got sketched out, that's when I knew it was bad because this nigga is sketchy from jump. So like when he got sketched out, I knew some shit was going left. So we ended up not going to the karaoke spot. We ended up going to another spot. It's called the Garage. It's like literally this little ducked off bar, like on the south side.
Okay.
It's real cute. It's real cute, but it was around the corner from where 2 of my friends stay. So like if someone went left because this dude was being creepy, then somebody could get to me in the event someone went left. So we're at the date, like I'm talking about like my family, like whatever, because on Tinder you don't use last names. So I tell him my last name.
Yeah, I ain't never been on Tinder.
Yeah, okay. So Tinder is literally just like your first name and your last initial. So like you get to know people. Well, we started talking about it, so I tell him my last name, and I guess that's when he put 2 and 2 together. So he's like, "Did your dad used to have a billboard?" I was like, "Yeah." So we started talking about that. Then he mentions like he went to high school with some people that I knew, and that like my dad had represented his brother or something. So like we just keep talking.
Okay.
So the day ends. I go home. He called me like 2:30 that morning. I didn't answer because again, I don't know this man like that. So I get to work and they're like, well, the reason he probably hadn't heard from him is because you didn't answer his phone call. I'm like, y'all, I'm not gonna answer the phone call of some random dude at 2:30 in the morning. These are booty call hours. And I don't know him like that. And y'all know I'm weird about my personal space. So I text him. I was like, had a really great time. Like, hope we can do it again. He texts back, me too. Have not heard from this man since. So why does this story matter? So a couple weeks later, I take my car to get an oil change. They told me something wrong with my tire. So I had to borrow my dad's car for work. So I picked my dad up to go pick up my car. And we're just in the car talking because he'd asked me about how the dude I was talking to was. I said I hadn't talked to him, but I had gone on 2 dates.
Okay.
So I started telling him about this second date.
Okay.
And I'm telling him about the guy. Like, I tell him the guy's name. And I tell him, like, who he knows that, like, my dad would know. And he's like, does he work at such and such place? I was like, yeah. And I keep in mind, I'm driving. So, like, my dad's budget, I'm driving. I'm like, yeah. He's got 2 kids. Yeah. Yeah, he's like, I think he might be married or has a living girlfriend. And like, yeah, don't talk to him. I'm like, when your daddy got to tell you these folks out here is
so,
foul.
So your daddy didn't know this from the jump?
Because I didn't tell my parents about it until after. Like, I didn't tell him about it until after I had already gone on the date with the dude. So I'm telling
But your dad knew him? Oh, damn. So you could have stopped all this. You would told your daddy. Oh, damn. See, that why y'all don't be getting y'all daddies involved in this shit?
I do now.
Oh.
Because nah, fam. Not again. I said, when your daddy got to be the one that tells you stuff like this because folks niggas just out here in these streets just wilding. I said, never again. Never again. Deleted that.
Okay, so tell us another story. What's another story you got? Dating story.
Well,
When's the last time you've been on a date?
it's been a hot minute. I was supposed to go on one a couple months ago. Lord, please don't let anybody that knows this man be watching this.
Don't say his name.
I'm not. So I was at an event for 2 of my friends, right?
Okay.
And it's this guy sitting across the table from me. So like the table's like this far apart. So like we were talking throughout the night, but like again, I will talk to anybody, so it's not a thing for me. So I guess after this particular event, he went up to my group of friends and told them that he liked me, thought I was cute, like wanted to get to know me, whatever. Mm-hmm. So we're all still in the same space. And so like I'm just standing there like talking to everybody, but he has yet to like come over and say anything else to me. And my friends are like, it's because you're intimidating him. I'm like, how am I intimidating? I'm literally standing here with the rest of you. Like, how is this me being intimidating? Like,
yeah.
So now I got to stand over in the corner and be awkward by myself so he can like approach me. So like we start, talking. I'm like, So he walks me to the door. He asked me for my phone number. Well, no, he didn't ask me for my phone number that day. He asked me if I wanted to go get coffee sometime. So I was like, yeah, sure. Got my car, left. Well, the next day, went back out with these same friends. He was there too. So that's when he finally asked me for my phone number because I guess he thought I was going to walk him out. But I was like, nah. So we start texting or whatever because, again, I'm trying to explore new things.
Okay, so you stepping outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, because
but you just said earlier you didn't know what you wanted though.
I knew that him being the height that he was and the age that he was were not anything that I was interested in, but my friends bullied me into being a nice person.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna let you live with that. Go ahead.
I'm like, go ahead. Bullied me into being a nice person. So like we start texting him. His text message consisted of good morning. How is your day? How are you feeling? Good morning. But so eventually we get to the point where he asked me out. So I was like, yeah, sure. I agreed to go out at 6:00 on a Tuesday. We were going to go to East West. So the day of the date.
That's my spot there.
I love it. The yeah. Bomb. So the day of said date, he hits me up at like 12 something and is like, I think I'm going to have to like push back the time that we meet. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, okay, well, what time? He's like, well, I'm not really sure. Like, it's some stuff going on. I'll let you know. So then he hits me up and he tells me that he had a car accident. So I'm thinking that the car accident and him having to push the time back have something to do with each other.
Okay.
They have absolutely nothing to do with each other.
So did he have a car wreck that day?
He did have a car accident. Okay. But he had the car. So he texted me at 12:30. You didn't have a car accident till 4:00. Talking about some, you think we can't go out till 10 p.m. on a Tuesday.
So actually he had a car accident after he said he had. Okay, this is wild. Okay, go ahead.
So you hit me up and say that you need to push the time back.
Okay.
4 hours later, you had a car accident. But then as we're having this conversation.
God don't like ugly.
But then as we're having this conversation, you want to FaceTime at 6:00 when we were supposed to be at dinner. Yeah. Like we couldn't go on the date until 10, but you have time to FaceTime at 6:00. Okay. While when we supposed to be eating. Okay. So I had already made other plans when I was like, bro, I'm not gonna go at 10:00 on a Tuesday. Like I'm a teacher.
Yeah, you gotta get up for school in the morning.
So I went out with my coworkers, like went home. Like, so I'm telling my dad, because I called my mom and I told her about it. That was my first mistake. I called my mama first. Okay. I should have led with my dad. Okay. Because my mom was like, well, I mean, like he's young, but like he may be a nice person. Like
your mom wants you out the motherfucking house.
My mama just
she wants you out the house. She trying to walk around naked.
No, Rod was like, nah. Like my dad was like, something about this does not sit right with me. He's like, he's how old? What happened? So once I figured out that the wreck and like him pushing the time back had absolutely nothing to do with each other, I was already like, what are we doing? So again, like we talk, but like then he just like disappears.
Okay.
So he pops back up like 3-4 weeks later, and I knew why he disappeared. Which I can't say. Like I knew why.
Tell me. You ain't telling his name. We want to know.
I can't tell. I can tell you off camera, but I can't because there's other people involved.
You could just say what the incident was. Just
no. The incident was like he had something. He was involving himself in an organization and fell off the planet for like 3
like a fraternity or something. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like, but I already knew. So like, so then he just randomly popped back up and was like, yeah, sorry I disappeared for a while. Like I had a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Sir, I already was not trying to entertain you, but you dropping off the planet but like you can FaceTime, but you can't go to dinner.
So He had her. He said at 12 o'clock.
He had at 12 o'clock.
He calls you and says, "I need to push my time back because I had a wreck."
No, the wreck in the car, like you mentioned the wreck after you have to put. So like 12:30, you say you got to push the time back. I ask you, okay, what time? You say you don't know. 4 o'clock, you hit me up, say you had a car accident.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that you're explaining why you have to push the time back, but these two situations are not even connected. It's two totally separate situations.
Okay. Because
when I asked you how you had the car wreck, you said a teenager hit you. So because I'm still under the impression that this accident happened and that's why we pushed the time back, I'm like, well, shouldn't they have been at school? He was like, oh yeah, the wreck didn't happen until like 4 o'clock. They were on their way to basketball practice.
Yeah, that sound crazy. That sound crazy. How long was this?
This was February.
Oh, this year?
Yeah, this was literally like 4 months ago.
So that was the last date you were supposed to go on?
Yes.
Why so long apart? Like, what is your goal for dating? Like, you want to get married? You want kids? What do you want? What are you looking for?
But like, I think it's partly like what you said. Like, I'm really hard on people, but I'm really hard on people in like weird ways. Like, my father has terrible grammar. I love him, but he does. So like, me being like a grammar Nazi is like not necessarily like a deciding factor for me not talking to somebody. But like, I'm a very particular individual about certain things. And like, it's just certain stuff that I'm just like, I don't understand why we think this is okay behavior.
Yeah.
Cause I'm super weird about like my personal space. So like, if you try to like which is weird considering the fact that my love language is physical touch, but if it's not someone that I want to be like physically touched by, don't come in my bubble.
All right.
Like,
you don't seem like the touchy-feely type. That's
I really like, which is like people are like, what? I'm like, yeah, I know it's super weird.
Yeah.
But like,
because then you have a resting bitch face too sometimes too. So it's like you look standoffish. Maybe that's part of your problem.
That's what everybody. I can't help it. It's not because it's literally because like 85. First off, I have really terrible like social anxiety. Like when it comes to like being like in scenarios, like 85% of the time, like I'm not trying to look standoffish. I'm literally just trying to make sure that I don't like say something stupid, trip over my own. Like I'm just trying to make sure that I'm like not socially awkward.
So you always second guessing yourself stuff?
Very much so. Like I'm trying to make sure that I'm not socially awkward.
You need some therapy work on that. Do you think people judge you a lot?
Yes.
Why?
Okay, so basic background. I went to school of fine arts, and I've always been in the gifted class. Like I've always been around people, that don't look like us. So then when I got like middle school, I started going to a predominantly Black church. And the way I talk and the way folks that don't come from my back, it's totally different. So I spent a lot of time like as a kid, like
you was conflicted.
Yeah, and basically like defending myself and like what I like to do to people, because it's like one group, you're not enough of, then the other group, you're too much, or you're not enough of this. And so like it was always this constantly like me having to like defend like why I like this music, or like why I did this, or like why I did that. And so it just became like, I guess it just became like a defense mechanism, because like if you don't talk to me at all, then that means that you can't tell me that there's something wrong with my personality.
So the resting bitch face to keep people from approaching you.
It's really just
a guard.
Yeah, it's really also just because like I'm literally like, okay, how can we not be awkward in this situation?
So what's the worst thing about dating Cara? If a nigga wanted to talk to you, what does he have to get over? Like what hurdles, what guards, what is it? Trust issues? Is it?
I need emotional validation more so than I would like to admit to people. Like so I need to know you like me, and if I don't,
he has to say reaffirm you or affirm you all the time. Words of affirmation all the time.
Or like if like I feel like, let's say that like you're having a bad day, like communicate that, because like otherwise if I think you're ignoring me, then I'm automatically going to like go into fight or flight mode. And like fight means that like I'm gonna start an argument, and then flight just means I'm gonna just stop talking to you too, because like I feel like if I'm reaching out and like you not responding, then like that just means you don't want to talk to me no more. And you could have just said that. So like I'm just not gonna talk to you either, because I'm stubborn.
So have you talked to somebody that you feel like had like a really fucked up childhood and they had to get over that? Have you got a question? Have you got into a place in a relationship where you feel like you've gotten a person all the way open?
The technical answer to that question is yes. But said individual is probably not somebody that I should be in a relationship with.
Why not?
Based off, it's that whole thing we were talking about earlier, like people who are based on people who are raised on love and people who are raised on survival. It's sometimes very hard for us to intermingle because the person who's raised on love is constantly, or at least in my case, I feel like someone is constantly trying to like reaffirm the person that like I'm not going anywhere, so
right,
like you don't have to be this
here. Yeah.
Like you don't have to be this much of an ass. Yeah. Like,
because people that's raised on survival, they always do. They have mechanisms too, and it's like they'll try to push you away or be, like you said, assholes.
And so it's like
they constantly testing you, trying to make sure your loyalty is on point and shit like that. So like they always doing some bullshit.
And so like I was in a situation where like my birthday, like even though like I don't make a super big deal about my birthday, like to the people that are like in my circle, like it's important to me that you acknowledge my birthday. This particular individual did not.
Okay.
For whatever reason. So when they finally hit me up, I was real like dry because I was like, so then I finally was just like, okay. And so like I wasn't angry about it, like I wasn't hostile about it. I was just like, okay, so here's the situation.
Okay.
This is why this is why this upset me. Like this is what you did. This is why this upset me. Instead of just being like, damn, my bad, you go all the way the fuck left. You like, you can forget about my fucking birthday too, all of this.
That's what he said.
I was like, so like, I just was like, I'm at work right now and I do not have time to emotionally unpack this in the calm manner that I need to. So I will text you back when I get off work. And I did. And I was like, I don't understand why this is how the fuck, like, this is what you default to. I wasn't trying to like be an asshole about it. I was like, I was trying to constructively approach the situation and you just went fucking left. I'm like,
so he flipped on you after he forgot your birthday.
I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, I literally was just like, I don't understand how this shit went this way. I was like, I was just like, I wasn't even mad about it. Like, it was just like, it was fucked up. Here we go. Like, it's not like you my nigga. Like, we cool, but like, I just wanted to know the situation.
Yeah, that was a situationship.
No, it's the homie of mine that like we're cool. Like we got back in contact, but like it was just one of those things where it's like you're supposed to be my friend. Like it's kind of fucked up.
Hold on, y'all never dated or nothing like that. No. Okay, I thought this was romantic.
No, I mean, do I? Well, can I admit that I probably have more feelings to attach to the situation than he does? Yes, which is why like I'm over here going to therapy because this shit is unhealthy.
So is it a line you trying to cross that he ain't trying to go there?
I don't think that he would say no, but I don't think that the situation would pan out in my favor for what I want.
He has the power, it looks like.
Not necessarily the power. It's more so like if it broached a physical relationship, then it would not be the emotional relationship that I need because even as a friendship, it's not necessary. Like it's not necessarily, it's more of a, one side is not the right word. I know that like I'm the more emotional individual and I know that like I'm the type of person that like I get really attached, which is why like I don't get attached because like I know that while I might not drive into your stuff like homegirl, there will probably be some physical damage to your property.
Okay, as long as you ain't driving to nobody's shit, that's all that matters.
Vehicular homicide gets you way more time in prison.
What?
Like, I'm just saying.
You sure?
Hitting somebody with a car versus just like, lighting their clothes on fire in a bathtub, like left eye.
Well, you might have fun, but you could still do something to them though. I just say this
because I'm not going nowhere for any type of attempted murder charge. I'ma just tear up your
stuff. I'ma just say this: you don't know what you'll do.
That's very true.
When and this is from experience. I'm like, it takes me a lot to get to that point, but when I'm there. Like, it ain't no fuck it. I'm a person. If I'm there, I'll cut myself 100 times, cut you 101. I'm that type of nigga. Like, when I'm there, I'm there. But it takes a lot to get me there. And when you're a person that, you fucking with somebody and you feel like they're doing you wrong, and you keep giving and keep giving and keep giving, you don't know how you
like, and they keep doing fuck shit.
You don't know how you'll snap. That's very true. Even though we got shows like Snapped, and those women just be killing men because they want, they want their boyfriends, and then they want to get their insurance money and shit. And and do whatever. That's what it is. Be about the insurance money. So, what does it take for a man to do for you to know that he can lead you?
I figured you were gonna ask me that question. I didn't even have a plan. Like, I need to see that there's like an end goal, because like I think a lot of like a lot of stuff you see on.
How would you know that if you don't know what kind of man you want though?
And that's also a very valid question. This is why we're signing up. But like the whole like women don't want to be submissive thing that like dudes go off on this tirade on Facebook. I'm like, I don't necessarily think it's that women don't want to be submissive, but it's the whole concept of like you can't submit to something that's not like there. And it's also like boyfriend, like people want girlfriends that they have no intentions of marrying to like submit to their bullshit. And I'm
how
like,
would you
that's
know
not
that?
same.
How would you know that he's not going to get married though?
I mean, I'm not speaking of me personally.
I'm just saying any woman, because this is the question from my dating experience. Women ask, do you see yourself getting married? And I say, yes. But it's never, do you want to marry me? So I didn't lie. That's and you true. Internalize it as I did say, I want to marry you.
But that I will say that is a problem that women have. I can't say all women, because some women don't give a fuck about that. But a lot of women, like, and we tend to project unrealistic expectations into situations without having like a full conversation about said expectation.
Yeah, like my mom used to always tell me when I was young, probably when it started when I was 10, she used to say, women hear and see and feel what they want to feel. She was like, if she used to tell me if she like you enough, she'll lie to herself. And I ain't know I'm 10 years old until I got old. I'm like, I used to, I ain't gonna lie, being young and naive, I would say, damn, these hoes stupid. Right. I would literally, and
I'm gonna give you that.
But I'm just saying, like, I used to think that it's not necessarily that they're stupid. It's necessarily they could be just in love, but they really, I mean,
but it's like what I said earlier. Like, I project the good that I can see in people on people.
Mm-hmm. Like, so is it that potential that women like to say, oh, I see potential in you?
Yes, but sometimes potential is really just like, it's not even that he has potential. It's the potential that you have convinced himself. It's the potential that you have convinced yourself that he could have. Mm-hmm. And that is what you're projecting. Like, you're not even projecting anything about this nigga anymore. It's literally like what you want to see, how you want to see. It's what you in your mind have created this situation to be. And that is what you're projecting. Shit.
Oh, well, a lot of people ain't going to admit that.
Again, why I have not been to therapy, I have gone through an extensive amount of self-reflection on my own personal bullshit.
And it takes a lot, but it comes to like an of age thing, because the thing is, we don't know. And I say this.
It also comes from watching other people do really stupid shit, and like you realize that like sometimes you did that same stupid shit, and it's like, how can we not repeat this pattern?
This is what I say, and people hate when I say this. In 2022, with social media, your friends, your family, and shit like that, it is no reason for us to be continuous stupid ass cycles, right? This whole conversation, like even this basic conversation about women, is a woman's choice who gets her pregnant, right? I don't know how you believe about that. I don't know if you believe that a man should take responsibility, women should take responsibility, but this whole choice, right? If women are constantly on social media claiming that fathers don't take care of their children, they're always left with children.
Then why the fuck do you keep doing this shit?
Yeah. It's just that simple. If you know you're going to be left with more of the responsibility. So let's say it's equal, right? Let's say both of us are responsible. But if you're going to be left with more responsibility, both of us are not responsible. That's just common fucking sense. If you feel like we can have sex right now, and I'm gonna leave you with this motherfucking 8-ball, and you gotta carry this bitch around for the rest of your life. Cause people say 18 years, but it ain't no 18 years.
That shit is forever.
That's forever.
At least until one of y'all dies.
And so when you think about that, it's like, well, why the fuck do y'all keep doing this shit?
That's a very valid point.
80% court show. I think it's 76% of the times courts grant women with custody. So you more than likely, as a woman, will have custody of your child if he doesn't want to deal with it.
Which is why, this is why I don't have it. Like, my friends make fun of me because, like, it's not necessarily that, like, I'm anti-sex. I'm just like, I don't need, like, I got enough emotional baggage, and like it's just like
Sex
y'all
clouds
be
things.
exactly. I'm like, and y'all be out here doing real like raggedy and stupid shit, and I'm just like, I would just like to avoid this problem. Like one of my friends legit looked at me in the face. She was like, "I think you might just be asexual." I'm like, "No, I'm not asexual. I'm just particular because one, diseases, two, even with like the plethora of birth control options there are in the world, shit happens.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be stuck with no dude that like I have absolutely no emotional
Well, you
connection
always
to.
got the Hail Mary.
I mean, that's true. There's lots of options, but at this point, like, I'm old. Like,
so if you hold on, question. If you just happen to get pregnant, you keeping it at 35, well, you is 35. That's kind of old.
Like at 35, probably, but also at 35, I probably would be having a conscious conversation with the person that I'm having sex with. Be like, okay, so what are the potential options in the situation?
Okay, so do you think this is a question I'm asking you as a woman? Do you think women know if they got pregnant the caliber of man they're with? Like, let's say you got pregnant by a dude. Do you think you would know if he's going to stick around or not? Do you think you'll know that, or do you think do you think men are just faking that good, or do you think women don't care?
I think it's kind of a twofold because speaking from personal experience, out of all of the ones that I have been involved with, I think they would have, but for two of them, it probably wouldn't have been based on like the age and like what I was doing like that probably wouldn't have been an option to even consider. But I think a lot of times, like I think in some situations, it's like sometimes you just hope that like the situation's gonna play out in your favor, but like that also comes with like people got to start having more conversations about like basic expectations and like the shit you're looking for in situations.
Yeah.
Like people fail to realize that like sex makes babies. Right. So if you're not trying to have a baby with someone, you should probably be taking some sort of precautions to like not have said baby. Like, yeah, I get it. Sometimes like shit happens. Oops, stuff gets fucked up. But like if you are consciously making this choice like every day to make this decision, and like it's probably a conversation you should be having.
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think so. So question, this is gonna be our last few questions. Therapy. Yes. What do you hope to get out of therapy?
I hope more constructive ways of dealing with like my emotions and better approaches with dealing with other people. Because I have been called judgmental a time or two in the past by an associate.
Nothing wrong with that.
And sometimes like I think part of it is because like I'm so honest about like my shit that like I expect that same level of honesty in other people. And then when they don't, then like it makes me look like I'm being an asshole because I'm like, well, you ain't think about this like this. And so maybe a more constructive way of like dealing with other people and their issues.
What's wrong with being judgmental?
Let's see. I think we're all judgmental in our own ways. I think that some of us just project. I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with being judgmental. I think it's more so how people that feel like you're judging them are perceiving or receiving the message of your judgment. Like, for example, there was a situation with somebody that I was cool with where they were doing something or involving themselves with someone that I didn't feel like for various reasons they needed to be having these type of conversations that they were having outside of business hours. Because I was like, I'm like, you do know this isn't okay, right? Like, and so they would just be nonchalantly like dropping these random ass tidbits of like, I'm like, I don't understand why you think this is okay. You're just being so judgmental. That's why I don't tell you anything. I'm like, I don't really know why you thought that I, of all people, was going to co-sign this bullshit. Like, like, what about my personality says I'm finna
that's
co-sign
what I hate
some
about
bullshit? People.
Oh my God, I didn't know till you just said that. When people say that you judgmental, but then tell you the bullshit that they know you're not gonna go for, and then call you a judgmental.
I'm like, that's not me being judgmental. That's me being a fucking good friend.
That's a fucking trigger.
This shit is like stupid. Like, I don't understand why you think this is okay.
Hey, that's a fucking trigger. Like, people are really pressing your buttons and be like, "Oh, you so judgmental." Like, no, bitch. Like, you shouldn't even told me. Like, I'd rather you just kept the shit a secret. Let me find out or something. Like why are you telling me?
But then, but then we flip it. Same person, different scenario. Mm-hmm. So they were involved with somebody that I also know. I didn't find out till after the fact. Mm-hmm. Well, then, like, you get mad at me at how I handle finding out the situation after the fact. But you plainly said you didn't tell me to begin with, because you can't get mad at how I interact with the information after I find out the fuck shit. Like, I don't understand, like, why just because you think it's okay to behave like this, that I'm just supposed to be like, you know what, G, that's great.
No, well, if that person, see, this is the thing. And when it comes to people, what they don't divulge to you, it's not really your business to get into. So, like, for instance, if a person was doing a moving kind of funny, let's say it was a friend and she was dating another friend. I guess the gist of your example, your friend dating probably another dude's man behind her back or something like that, maybe. Let's go with this scenario. Okay?
We'll go with that scenario.
Okay, so, and then you find out, like, oh, that such and such old dude where they used to talk, that's kind of fucked up, and y'all are friends. So let's say you find out something like that. Well, if she didn't tell you, you really don't have a room to say. You might not like it, but just speaking on that situation may not be that wise, because she would she was like, girl, let me tell you who I'm fucking with. Then she came and brought you some information, and then you get to speak on it. But sometimes people, relationships and lives and stuff like that, when they don't tell you, sometimes they don't even want to be checked because they know you're not going to see. I think those people that do shit like that are more your friends, because they know you ain't gonna go with their bullshit. So they rather just keep it dark in the dark. But the ones that come to you and be like, oh, let me tell you who I'm fucking with, and then you get upset and they try to look at you like you crazy, but they already know you're gonna be fucked up. And that's my issue. My whole point when I'm telling people, when your friend is getting cheated on, I know a lot of people feel different about this, right? When your friend's getting cheated on, right? You have to know your friend enough to know, if I bring her this motherfucking big ass ball and sit it in her lap, is she gonna take this bitch and throw it at my head or his head? Or is she just gonna give it back to me like she didn't hear what the fuck I said? And see, a lot of people don't even understand that aspect of relationship, because people like, well, if I tell my friend that her man's cheating her and she gets mad at me, then she's not really my friend. No, bitch, you want her friend because you didn't know your friend enough to know that she couldn't handle that information. So why did you take the information to your friend? Now, if you had an understanding with your friend and she was like, hey, yeah, if you don't see my nigga out there cheating, whoop the whoop, bring it to me, then cool. And then even still, after she tell you that, you still need to be like,
is this gonna benefit me?
Right.
In any way,
shape or form. And typically, you telling your friend that she getting cheated on is not going to benefit you. A lot of people stay when they get cheated on. And really, you just want to tell your friend she getting cheated on so y'all can do hot girl shit behind his back and shit now, so she'll be more comfortable doing a little whole shit. That's typically what I see. Like, a bitch be like, well, he cheating on you, and then the nigga be y'all nigga. Girl, your man cheating on you, you might as well go and suck his dick. So what I'm saying, like, and people don't understand it. People be so gun-ho on breaking up people's houses and lies and shit. And you don't even know that woman even know if her man. I feel like this. If he cheating, she cheating. I feel like if y'all in the house together and that nigga fucking off, she fucking off too. And I don't think they don't even know that they fucking off. It's kind of hard to stay in the house with people. And that's the crazy part. It's kind of hard to stay in the house with somebody, talk to them every day. Watch, like I said, they your mirror. You watch them every day and you don't know something off. Like, I knew from my ex-wife that how her vagina smelled was different.
Like, that's some deep shit.
Like, something. You gotta know something. Like, this is some real shit. Even if that your person is out there having sex with someone else and they're using a condom, that rubber smell stays for a long fucking time. That's what I'm saying.
But then once again, that's when I was back in my, like, this is when we ramble through fuck stuff things, and this is why we learn not to ramble through.
Yeah, if a nigga leave in their house, don't ramble. Don't ramble.
That's how you find stuff that's just gonna make you mad.
Oh, okay. So anything else you want to say tonight?
No, I think we've unpacked.
Tell them where they can find you if they want to get some arts and crafts.
It's gonna be Emerald Hour Crafts on Instagram, or you can follow my Etsy shop as well. Same title, Emerald Hour Crafts.
Spell it out to people.
hold on, why can't I spell that? EMARDWLCRAFTS. Don't ask me why I can't spell it today.
Yeah, I go check her out. She's supposed to be making me something. And I'm gonna let y'all know she made it. I'm gonna even put it in the tags and shit like that.
We appreciate the shout out.
All right. This is a New Normal Podcast. If y'all watching over there on YouTube, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. If y'all on Facebook, make sure y'all like it and comment, give us some ideas, topics y'all want to talk about, and make sure y'all share the video. We out.